A very good Friday morning to everyone out there across the Wobbles community. Landon here with you to bring you your latest weather forecast courtesy of On Target. And folks, you're going to need to be weather aware today. We've got the opportunity of significant severe weather event unfolding here across the region. We could be looking at multiple rounds, and all that will be starting out with this morning, as you can see right here on the current radar. We have got these severe thunderstorms that are already progressing off to the north and east. We got another round that's arriving here in far western Kentucky near Fulton. And this is going to be plowing up north and east through the region here over the next few hours. How this morning activity depends will greatly dictate how the remainder of the day is going to unfold. We're honing in on the mid to late afternoon time frame into this evening for the peak severe weather threat that could be coming along with this. But the morning activity that we're already seeing has prompted a severe thunderstorm watch for the entirety of the Wobbles community. It's going to last here through the midday time frame. All right, let's jump over here first and foremost, and let's get a look at the latest from the Storm Prediction Center. We have got the entirety of the Wobbles community in a level 4 out of 5 risk. That is a moderate risk for severe weather. These are rather rare, and this could be significant. We're looking at all severe weather modes that are on the table, from damaging straight-line winds, very large hail, the opportunity of strong tornadoes developing, giving the ingredients that are going to be available within our atmosphere, all right? So let's get a look across the region before we dive into the details of what we're going to be focusing on. Barren River Lake, overlooking the state dock, Proclaim Broadcasting Cam there, showcasing some haziness out there, along with a little bit of cloud cover that we're taking in early on this Friday. Same can be said overlooking the Morgantown Sky Cam. You can see some of the cloud tops there of the anvil of the strong storms currently impacting Owensboro over into McLean County and Ohio County. That's staying to our north for the time being, but we are keeping our eyes to the west for the opportunity at more to move our direction. Look at these current observations that are already available out there. We're looking at temperature readings anywhere between the low and mid 70s region-wide. Folks, dew points are already up into the lower 70s. We look for dew points around the mid 50s to be supportive of strong and severe convection. We've well exceeded that, and we've got a whole lot of other parameters that are in place that's going to be following suit along with that. Here's a look at the surface map. We have got this Boeing cold front that's going to be arriving here from the west that's going to be blasting through the region. This is going to help serve as a source of lift to fire off the strong and severe storms that A, we're already seeing this morning, but B, could be even more prominent with the afternoon and evening rounds of more strong and severe storms that are anticipated. So let's dive into our setup, shall we? And let's get a little bit more intricate in the details of what's unfolding here. We are looking at the 500 millibar level jet streak. This is 18 to 20,000 feet up above our head. All right, whenever we get a jet streak up above our head, that can help promote lift within the atmosphere, and the orientation of that jet streak is going to be primed to bring us that opportunity of severe weather. Here we are working throughout this morning, and folks, you'll note all these little kinks in these black contour lines, all right? These are known as short wave troughs. You can see the morning round that's helped firing off all that strong and severe weather that we're seeing this morning is working in here from the south and west, and then look at these little kinks here, folks, as we roll into mid-morning, all right? That is somewhat concerning, but more so as we work into this afternoon. Take a look at these short wave troughs that are present across the viewing area and the surrounding region. These short wave troughs help promote lift along and ahead of them within the atmosphere, and lift is a very important ingredient whenever it comes to strong and severe storms. So these little series of short waves that's going to be working across the region is going to promote the potential for multiple rounds of these strong and severe storms. And on top of that, look at our CAPE. This is storm energy that's going to be available within the atmosphere. If we get CAPE valuations around 1,000 to 2,000 joules per kilogram, that's rather significant and impressive, but take a look at what model guidance is spitting out. This is kind of insane. As we work into the late afternoon and evening hours, we have got CAPE values, surface-based, upwards of 3 to 4+ thousand joules per kilogram. Folks, this is more prone to a setup that you would see across the Great Plains in the peak of spring severe season, but it is present here across our region as we work throughout today on into this evening as well. Let's take a look at the simulated radar and what's going to be firing off whenever these rounds and these ingredients come together, all right? Here we're looking at the morning round. It's picking up nicely on these strong and severe storms. Here comes the round here that we were just looking at on radar over far west Kentucky. It looks to arrive here around mid-morning into midday, and we are going to need to keep close eyes on this initial round throughout this morning. Very large hail, have the opportunity of damaging straight line winds along with a few tornadoes developing with this. But watch, this is where the question mark comes in. Whenever we roll into lunchtime into early afternoon, model guidance is trying to allow the atmosphere to recover while diminishing some storm chances here across the region. If this comes to fruition and we get some breaks of sunshine out, this is really going to allow the atmosphere to recover, really jolt up our instability for our secondary rounds as we work throughout this afternoon and evening. You can see right here as we go into early and mid-afternoon, we get more robust storm development here. And then we progress throughout this evening and we get an even more prominent bowing line of storms that blast through here, finally exiting to the south and east of the region sometime around probably closer to the 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. time frame as we work throughout the overnight, okay? Coming along with it as well, final ingredient we're going to look at is updraft helicity. This is the providing of rotation within storms. And you can see it's going to be available this morning. You can see these shear markers here. And then watch as we work throughout this afternoon and on into this evening. All right? Look at the numerous shear markers stretching across a large portion of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. And again, folks, this is indicative of rotation within the atmosphere. This is why we do have a tornado threat, some of which could become strong, that is also in place for us as well, okay? So let's jump over here and let's give you the timeline and let's give you the full breakdown of what we're watching. Again, the Storm Prediction Center has the entirety of the Wobbles community in a level 4 out of 5 risk, okay? Who knows? We might see an upgrade to high risk. I'm not exactly sure that that's going to be the case, but if we do, regardless, folks, the colors don't matter. We have the threat of a significant severe weather event, potentially multiple, impacting the region today. You will look right here, our severe threats on this graphic: damaging winds, possibly hurricane force winds, very large hail, and the potential for strong tornadoes along with flooding and torrential rainfall, okay? Here's a look at the latest severe weather probabilities from the Storm Prediction Center. Whenever the Storm Prediction Center issues these probabilities, it is the probability of X severe weather hazard occurring within 25 miles of you, all right? We have a 15% probability of a tornado occurring within 25 miles of you. You will see the hatched area there. That's indicative of strong, violent tornadoes. So we need to be very weather aware today. We have the opportunity of a 30% probability of seeing very large hail develop within 25 miles of you. And then the number one concern is wind. We have a 45% probability of you seeing damaging winds within 25 miles of you throughout the entirety of today. So you can see here, folks, all severe weather modes are on the table. Please have multiple ways of being informed. Charge up your phones. Have your safety plan in place should any warnings be issued. Take this next graphic with a grain of salt. This is the start time for the highest severe threat that is expected to occur, begin around mid-afternoon and then take us through the early to the middle part of this evening. Do not let this create some kind of, mirage that you need to let your guard down this morning. I still think we could see some very strong and severe thunderstorms take place as we've been discussing throughout this morning's video. But for the peak severe threat, if our atmosphere is able to recover, we could see some discrete supercells get going during the early and mid-afternoon time frame. That's going to be concerning, but also with the congealing of those cells in the bowing line that'll move through here, it looks like after sunset, that'll be more of a wind-driven event, but all severe weather modes, folks, are on the table. Last but certainly not least, the entire Commonwealth of Kentucky is underneath a slight risk of excessive rainfall. We could be looking at a couple of inches that drop in some places, maybe more, exceeding 3 or 4 inches at times. Depending upon the orientation of these lines that move through here, flooding could obviously be a concern as well, okay? Now, on the heels of this, we're going to quieten down on Saturday. We're going to have hit-miss rain showers come back into the mix on Sunday, and then more rounds of showers and potentially strong and severe storms during the early days of the new work week. And that is painted, what we're going to look at here over the next week, anywhere between 2 to 4 inches of total rainfall could be coming to fruition with this as well, okay? So a very, very active pattern remaining intact for us. Please be aware of that. And remember, folks, we are already underneath a severe thunderstorm watch this morning, valid through midday, okay? Already underneath a severe thunderstorm watch. We'll see how the day progresses as we move along. Here's a full 6-day weather forecast breakdown for today. Been talking about it throughout the entire video. Probability, opportunity at a significant severe weather event unfolding. Highs this afternoon in the mid and upper 80s. It's going to be extraordinarily hot, extraordinarily muggy out there. Saturday, looks like we could get some sunshine in here with highs near the 80-degree mark. Hit-miss rain chances creep back into the fold on Sunday. And then we really ramp up those rain and storm chances Monday into Tuesday on into Wednesday of next week. Some of those could be bringing more rounds of strong and severe storms, unfortunately. Folks, that's going to wrap up your Friday morning weather or not forecast, brought to you by our friends at On Target. You need to stay weather aware throughout today, checking on your family and friends, make for sure that they are aware of the impending weather scenario that we have available within our atmosphere. And folks, again, not to be a broken record, but have your safety plan in place. Multiple ways of receiving those warnings should any be issued. We will be right here across our platforms walking you through today. If any severe thunderstorms were to threaten our vicinity, we'll be live with our Cyclone Port Network and all hands on deck here at the Weather or Not team to bring you the absolute latest. Not scared, always prepared.